Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a sudden, painful muscle cramp in your leg? Or maybe you've noticed that your muscles just don't feel as strong as they used to, even when you're not doing anything particularly strenuous? If you're over 60, these symptoms can feel alarming, frustrating, and confusing. You might wonder, is this just part of aging? But here's the surprising truth. Some of the foods you eat every day, even ones that seem healthy, might be silently making your muscle problems worse. Muscle cramps and weakness are common as we age, but they're not always just the result of getting older. In many cases, the issue lies in what's on your plate. Certain foods can deplete your body of essential minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium. Minerals your muscles rely on to contract, relax, and recover properly. Others may interfere with hydration or affect the nerves that signal your muscles to move. You might be eating these foods every day, completely unaware that they're contributing to your nighttime leg cramps, shaky knees, or that heavy, tired feeling in your arms and legs. The good news? Once you understand what to look out for, you can make small, smart changes to your diet that bring big relief. In today's video, we're going to take a close look at 6 common foods that could be draining your muscles, and we'll show you what to eat instead to support strength, stability, and comfort as you age. These aren't strange superfoods or expensive supplements. They're everyday choices you can start adjusting right away to help your body feel better, stronger, and more supported. So if you've been dealing with unexplained cramping, muscle fatigue, or just a sense that your body isn't moving the way it used to, stay with us. You might be just one small change away from a big improvement. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1, excessive sugar, the silent muscle drainer. For years, 68-year-old Betty from Florida started every morning with a sweet muffin and a cup of coffee with sugar. It was her little routine, a comforting ritual that made her mornings feel complete. But lately, Betty had been waking up with sharp leg cramps in the early hours of the morning. Sometimes her toes would curl up involuntarily. Other times her calves would tighten painfully during a walk or even while sitting on the couch. It's probably just my age, she thought, until her doctor asked about her diet and gently pointed to something she never considered. Sugar. We often think of sugar as a concern for weight or blood sugar, but many people don't realize that excessive sugar intake can quietly drain the very minerals your muscles need to function properly. When you consume a lot of sugar, especially added sugars from baked goods, sodas, sweetened cereals, and desserts, your body reacts by releasing insulin to process the glucose. This rapid insulin response can cause your kidneys to excrete more magnesium and potassium, 2 minerals essential for muscle relaxation and nerve function. And as you lose these minerals, you become more prone to muscle cramps, spasms, twitching, and general weakness. The problem is even more serious for older adults. As we age, our bodies naturally become less efficient at holding on to and absorbing key nutrients. If your diet is high in sugar and low in whole foods that replenish magnesium and potassium, your muscles will begin to suffer. You may not notice it at first, just a slight ache or twitch. But over time, these symptoms can become regular, painful, and disruptive. Betty's story is all too common. After tracking her sugar intake for just a few days, she was shocked to see how often sweets made their way into her meals and snacks. She wasn't eating candy bars or drinking soda every day, but between the muffins, crackers, flavored yogurt, and store-bought salad dressings, her sugar consumption added up fast. Once she began replacing sugary foods with fresh fruit, unsweetened oatmeal, nuts, and vegetables, her cramping episodes started to disappear. It didn't take long for her to feel stronger, more energetic, and less tense. Reducing sugar isn't about deprivation. It's about reclaiming your comfort and strength. You don't have to give up sweetness altogether. Instead, try using naturally sweet alternatives like berries, cinnamon, or a drizzle of honey in your meals. Opt for unsweetened versions of foods when possible, and learn to read labels. Even healthy granola bars or low-fat yogurt can hide surprising amounts of added sugar. If you're craving something sweet in the afternoon, try a banana with peanut butter or a baked apple with a sprinkle of cinnamon. These options not only satisfy your sweet tooth, but also support your muscles with important nutrients. And here's something empowering. Every time you reduce your sugar intake, you're not just helping your heart and blood sugar. You're directly helping your muscles stay strong and cramp-free. That twinge in your calf, that sudden jolt in your foot at night, it may not be just your age after all. It might be your body's quiet plea for more minerals and less sugar. So here's a question to consider. How much added sugar is sneaking into your daily diet? And is it worth the price your muscles might be paying? In the next section, we'll look at another common culprit that might be sitting right in your mug: caffeine. While a morning cup of coffee might seem harmless for many older adults, too much of it can be quietly sapping strength and hydration from the inside out. Number 2, too much caffeine, overstimulation and dehydration. Frank, a 71-year-old retired truck driver from Texas, had always loved his coffee. It was part of his morning ritual, his afternoon pick-me-up, and sometimes his companion during long, quiet evenings. He often joked that the smell of freshly brewed coffee was better than sunshine. But over the past few years, Frank began noticing strange, uncomfortable symptoms. His legs would twitch at night, his hands sometimes trembled, and every so often he'd feel a cramp in his side that seemed to come out of nowhere. He assumed it was aging, arthritis maybe, or just his body acting up. It wasn't until a routine checkup when his doctor asked about his caffeine intake that things clicked into place. What many people don't realize, especially those over 60, is that caffeine, when consumed in large amounts, can contribute to muscle cramps and weakness in subtle but serious ways. Caffeine is a stimulant, and while it may help us feel more alert, too much of it can overwork the nervous system, leading to a state of heightened stimulation that causes the muscles to misfire. This overstimulation can result in involuntary twitches, shaky hands, and sometimes even full-blown cramps, especially when the body's already low on important minerals like magnesium, calcium, and potassium. But the effects don't stop there. Caffeine is also a diuretic, meaning it increases the amount of fluid your kidneys excrete. Over time, this mild but consistent fluid loss can lead to dehydration, even if you don't feel particularly thirsty. And when your body becomes even slightly dehydrated, your muscles are among the first to suffer. Dehydrated muscle tissue is more prone to spasms and fatigue, and it takes longer to recover from even light activity. For seniors like Frank, who may already have lower fluid intake and slower renal function, the dehydrating effect of caffeine can become a bigger problem than it was decades earlier. Combine that with the possibility of medications, like diuretics or blood pressure drugs, that already affect hydration and electrolyte balance. And suddenly your daily coffee routine might be doing more harm than good. After realizing this, Frank made a few changes. He didn't quit coffee entirely, and he didn't have to. Instead, he limited himself to one moderate cup in the morning, then switched to herbal tea, lemon water, or decaf options in the afternoon. He also made a point to drink an extra glass of water for every caffeinated beverage he consumed. Within 2 weeks, the twitching stopped, the cramps faded, and his energy felt more stable throughout the day, not just spiking and crashing like before. It's important to note that caffeine isn't inherently bad. It can improve focus, boost mood, and even support brain health in moderate amounts. But when consumed in excess, especially more than 300 milligrams per day, roughly 2 to 3 cups of brewed coffee, it can begin to take a toll on the muscles and nervous system, particularly in older adults whose bodies are more sensitive to shifts in hydration and mineral levels. If you're someone who sips on coffee, cola, energy drinks, or even strong black tea throughout the day, and you're dealing with unexplained muscle tension, cramping, or shakiness, caffeine might be the missing link. Pay attention to how your body feels a few hours after your last cup. Do you feel jumpy, restless, tense in your neck or legs? These are signals worth listening to. The good news is that reducing caffeine doesn't mean giving up warmth or flavor. There are wonderful alternatives, from herbal teas like chamomile or ginger to warm lemon water or naturally flavored infusions with cucumber and mint. These drinks hydrate, soothe, and support your muscles instead of draining them. So ask yourself, How much caffeine is in your daily routine? And is it helping or hurting your body's ability to stay calm, strong, and well hydrated? In the next part, we'll explore a very different kind of muscle-sapping culprit, one that hides in sandwiches, snack packs, and breakfast platters: processed meats. You might be surprised at how much harm these salty slices can do to your muscles. Number 3, processed meats. High sodium, low nutrients. For Paul, a 73-year-old retired accountant from Missouri, breakfast was always simple and satisfying: a toasted English muffin, a few slices of bacon or ham, and a cup of black coffee. It was quick, familiar, and tasty, just what he needed to start the day. But over time, Paul started noticing something odd. His legs felt heavier when he walked to the mailbox. He experienced more frequent leg cramps at night, and some days he felt so weak that even getting out of a chair took extra effort. At first, he thought it was just old age catching up. But during a nutrition class at his local senior center, he discovered that the real issue might be hiding in those salty breakfast meats. Processed meats like bacon, ham, sausage, and deli meats are loaded with sodium, far more than your body actually needs. For older adults, this high sodium content can be particularly dangerous, not only for blood pressure, but also for muscle function. Here's why. When sodium levels in the body are too high and not properly balanced with other minerals, especially potassium and magnesium, it disrupts the delicate fluid balance that muscles need to function smoothly. This imbalance can lead to muscle cramping, stiffness, and general weakness. Moreover, these meats are often stripped of essential nutrients. While they may contain protein, they lack the full spectrum of vitamins and minerals found in fresh, whole protein sources like chicken, fish, or legumes. Worse, many processed meats contain preservatives like nitrates and nitrites, which have been linked to inflammation in the body, including the muscles and nerves. Inflammation adds yet another layer of stress, making it harder for muscles to repair and recover after normal daily use. For seniors like Paul, who may already be dealing with natural age-related muscle loss, called sarcopenia, this hidden stress can be the difference between feeling strong or feeling worn down. Over time, a regular diet of processed meats may not only affect the strength of your muscles, but also their responsiveness, meaning more cramps, less endurance, and a greater risk of falls. When Paul decided to take a closer look at his meals, he was shocked to realize that processed meats showed up multiple times a day, not just at breakfast. A ham sandwich for lunch, beef jerky as a snack, and sometimes sausage with dinner. No wonder his muscles were sending distress signals. With guidance from his doctor, Paul gradually replaced those items with grilled chicken, boiled eggs, canned tuna and water, and lentil-based dishes. He added more vegetables, fruits, and water-rich foods to help flush out excess sodium and restore balance. Within weeks, the nighttime cramps reduced, his legs felt less heavy, and he even began walking longer distances without tiring so quickly. The key lesson here is not that you must completely avoid processed meats forever, but that moderation and balance matter. Processed meats are convenient, but they come at a cost. If you enjoy the occasional slice of ham, pair it with potassium-rich vegetables like spinach or avocado. Drink plenty of water throughout the day, and try not to have salty meats in more than one meal per day. Coming up next, we'll explore an even more surprising reason your muscles may be feeling weak: a lack of potassium. And it's not just about eating bananas. We'll show you which common foods you might be missing and why they matter more than you think. Number 4, low potassium foods. Missing the muscle mineral. Martha, a 66-year-old grandmother from North Carolina, prided herself on cooking homemade meals. She'd whip up vegetable stir-fries, grill fish, and enjoy fresh salads. But when her nighttime leg cramps began to increase, she was baffled. She wasn't eating junk food or sugary snacks. Her meals were wholesome and balanced, or so she thought. After speaking with a nutritionist, Martha learned that while her meals were generally healthy, they lacked one key mineral: potassium. Potassium is a critical nutrient for muscle function. It works with sodium to regulate fluid balance, send nerve signals, and ensure that your muscles contract and relax properly. Without enough potassium, muscles can become stiff, prone to cramping, and slower to recover after physical activity. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at maintaining optimal potassium levels, making it even more important to include this nutrient in our diets. Martha's nutritionist explained that some of the foods she relied on, like iceberg lettuce, white rice, and lean chicken breast, were low in potassium. While they weren't harmful, they didn't provide the muscle-supporting nutrients she needed. In other words, her diet was missing the deep green vegetables, potassium-rich fruits, and fiber-packed legumes that could help replenish her body's stores. One surprising fact is that potassium is found in a wide range of foods, not just the commonly known banana. Foods like sweet potatoes, spinach, oranges, avocados, and beans are excellent sources. Martha began adding these to her meals. Instead of plain white rice, she tried quinoa or baked sweet potatoes. She swapped her iceberg lettuce salads for spinach or kale-based salads. For a snack, she chose a handful of dried apricots or a piece of fresh cantaloupe. Within a few weeks, the cramps subsided, and her muscles felt less fatigued. It's important to note that while potassium is essential, it's best obtained from whole foods rather than supplements unless specifically recommended by a doctor. This is because the body absorbs and uses the potassium in food more effectively, and whole foods also provide other nutrients and fiber that support overall health. Drinking plenty of water and avoiding excessive salt intake also helps your body maintain a healthy balance of potassium and sodium. By making these changes, Martha not only reduced her muscle cramps, but also felt more energized throughout the day. She was amazed at how something as simple as adjusting her diet could make such a noticeable difference. She also discovered that these potassium-rich foods were delicious, easy to prepare, and fit seamlessly into her regular meals. So, if you've been dealing with persistent muscle cramps or weakness, take a look at your plate. Could you be missing out on potassium-packed foods that support your muscle health? A few small adjustments, adding more leafy greens, choosing potassium-rich snacks, or swapping out low-potassium staples, might be all it takes to bring comfort and strength back to your muscles. Next, we'll explore another overlooked nutrient that plays a vital role in muscle relaxation and recovery: magnesium. Stay tuned for insights into why this forgotten mineral could be the key to finally ending those painful cramps. Number 5, not enough magnesium. The forgotten nutrient. Evelyn, a 72-year-old retired nurse from Colorado, thought she was doing everything right. She ate home-cooked meals, took her daily walk, and even tried to incorporate more vegetables into her diet. But every night, just as she was drifting off to sleep, the all-too-familiar sharp pain would strike. A muscle cramp so intense it would jolt her awake. She tried stretching before bed, drinking more water, and even using a heating pad, but nothing seemed to help. It wasn't until her doctor asked about her magnesium intake that Evelyn began to uncover the missing piece of the puzzle. Magnesium is a critical mineral that helps muscles contract and relax smoothly, yet it's often overlooked in our diets. This forgotten nutrient plays a key role in nerve function, energy production, and even the synthesis of protein. For older adults, maintaining adequate magnesium levels is particularly important because our bodies naturally absorb less magnesium as we age. Certain medications, such as diuretics or proton pump inhibitors, can also deplete magnesium stores over time, making seniors more vulnerable to deficiencies. When your magnesium levels are too low, your muscles may not be able to fully relax after contracting. This can lead to persistent tension, twitching, and painful cramps, especially in the calves, feet, or hands. Evelyn's nightly leg cramps were a classic symptom of magnesium deficiency. What made it even more frustrating was that magnesium isn't always easy to spot in everyday foods. Many processed or packaged foods contain little to no magnesium, and even healthy diets can fall short if they rely on fruits and vegetables that have been grown in magnesium-depleted soil. Once Evelyn started adding magnesium-rich foods to her meals, things began to change. She introduced more dark leafy greens, such as spinach and Swiss chard, which are excellent sources of magnesium. She also started eating a handful of almonds or sunflower seeds as a snack, and added a sprinkle of ground flax seeds to her oatmeal. For dinner, she included beans, lentils, and small portions of salmon, all of which provided a boost of this vital mineral. Within 2 weeks, her cramps lessened. Within a month, they had nearly disappeared. Evelyn was sleeping through the night again, and her muscles felt stronger, less prone to tension or spasms. One of the most surprising benefits she noticed was an improvement in her overall energy levels. Magnesium isn't just good for muscles, it's crucial for cellular energy production. By replenishing her magnesium levels, Evelyn found that she had more stamina during her walks and felt more alert during the day. Evelyn now keeps a small chart on her refrigerator with a list of magnesium-rich foods to remind herself to include them in her daily meals. She feels confident knowing that a simple dietary adjustment has made such a big difference in her comfort and quality of life. If you're dealing with muscle cramps or weakness, consider whether magnesium might be the missing piece. A few small changes, a bowl of leafy greens, a handful of nuts, or a serving of beans, could help your muscles relax, restore your strength, and bring you one step closer to a cramp-free life. In the next section, we'll take a look at an ingredient many people use every day without realizing its potential impact: artificial sweeteners. Could these sugar substitutes be quietly contributing to muscle discomfort? Let's find out. Number 6. Artificial sweeteners. Small packets. Big impact. Barbara, a 67-year-old retired librarian from Wisconsin, was trying her best to cut back on sugar. She swapped out her regular cola for diet soda, used sweetener packets in her morning coffee, and even bought low-calorie desserts that were labeled sugar-free. At first it seemed like a great choice. Fewer calories, less guilt, and the same sweet taste she enjoyed. But after a few months, she began noticing something unexpected. Her legs felt weaker, her hands sometimes trembled, and she started experiencing small, sudden muscle twitches, especially in her calves. Puzzled, she wondered if something else was going on. It wasn't until she read an article on artificial sweeteners that she began to connect the dots. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin are often marketed as a healthier alternative to sugar. And for many people, they can help reduce calorie intake and manage blood sugar levels. However, what isn't widely discussed is how these sweeteners may affect the nervous system and muscle function in certain individuals. Some studies have suggested that artificial sweeteners can alter the balance of neurotransmitters, which are the chemical messengers that signal your muscles to move. When this balance is disrupted, muscles may become overactive or, conversely, sluggish and unresponsive. This can lead to symptoms like twitching, cramping, or even a general sense of muscle fatigue. Another factor to consider is how artificial sweeteners affect gut health. Emerging research suggests that some sugar substitutes may alter the composition of gut bacteria, which can have a ripple effect on the entire body. A disrupted gut microbiome can lead to inflammation, which in turn can affect muscle recovery and repair. For seniors whose digestive systems are often more sensitive, this chain reaction can be particularly problematic. When Barbara began phasing out artificial sweeteners, the changes were gradual but clear. She switched from diet soda to sparkling water flavored with a splash of lemon or a few slices of cucumber. In her coffee, she tried a small amount of honey or a sprinkle of cinnamon instead of a packet of sucralose. And when she craved something sweet, she opted for fresh fruit or a piece of dark chocolate. Over time, the muscle twitches subsided, her legs felt steadier, and her overall sense of energy improved. One of the biggest lessons Barbara learned was that reducing artificial sweeteners didn't mean giving up sweetness altogether. Instead, she discovered healthier, more natural ways to satisfy her sweet tooth, which not only supported her muscles, but also enhanced her overall well-being. She also noticed that, as she moved away from artificial sweeteners, her taste buds adapted. She began appreciating the natural sweetness in foods and found that she no longer needed her coffee to taste like candy. For anyone dealing with unexplained muscle cramps, twitching, or weakness, it might be worth taking a closer look at your diet. Could those small packets or sugar-free drinks be playing a role? Try cutting back for a few weeks and observe how your body responds. Replacing artificial sweeteners with natural alternatives can be a simple, effective step towards stronger, healthier muscles. As Barbara says now, sometimes the small things, like what you put in your coffee, can have the biggest impact on how you feel. Over the course of this video, we've explored how everyday foods, from sugary snacks to processed meats, caffeine, and artificial sweeteners can quietly contribute to muscle cramps, weakness, and fatigue. While these foods might seem harmless at first glance, they can gradually deplete your body of essential minerals, disrupt your hydration levels, and even affect how your nerves communicate with your muscles. For seniors who may already be dealing with age-related muscle loss, these hidden triggers can make a noticeable difference in daily comfort and mobility. But the most important takeaway is this: you have the power to make changes that truly matter. Small adjustments to your diet, like adding potassium-rich fruits, magnesium-packed greens, or natural sweeteners, can help restore balance and give your muscles the nutrients they need to stay strong and resilient. Hydrating more often, reducing reliance on processed and sugary foods, and incorporating a variety of whole, nutrient-dense options into your meals can make a world of difference. These changes don't have to be drastic or overwhelming. They're simple steps that add up over time. If you've been struggling with frequent cramps, muscle tension, or fatigue, don't settle for thinking it's just part of getting older. By identifying and replacing foods that may be draining your strength, you can start feeling more confident in your body and more at ease in your movements. Your muscles haven't given up on you. They're just waiting for the right support. So as you think about your next meal or snack, ask yourself, is this choice feeding my strength, or is it quietly taking it away? With each small, mindful decision, you'll be taking back control of your health and empowering your body to move, stretch, and thrive, no matter your age. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it inspired you to rethink the foods you eat and how they might be affecting your muscles. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more helpful tips on staying healthy, active, and strong. Let's keep moving forward, one smart choice at a time.